The next thing I want to talk about is this TikTok video where they talk about friendships and whether you've let somebody go based on, I believe it's their mindset or who they connect themselves with. So let us check this video out real quick.
Do y'all think it's too harsh to cut off a friend because of their romantic?
I literally had to stitch this because I had to cut off one of my closest friends because of this. At this point, she had been in several relationships that were just toxic, the same pattern of ain't shit guys just dogging her out in various ways. Nobody ever had a job, never had a consistent income, nothing. And even though she was on top of her stuff, still it will always impact her in some way, shape, or form. This specific guy was abusive, very toxic. He didn't have anything going for himself. Just a horrible person. He was always treating her like shit. And of course, she was coming to me about it because I'm her best friend. One particular time, she came to me about an issue that they were having. They were into it, arguing or whatever, and she was supposed to be cutting him off, right? Me and her have been texting about this. We have been texting back and forth, and I'm telling her, like, for the 50th time, you need to leave him. Like, he's no good for you. Like, why are you doing this to yourself? You have so much potential. You are so much better than this. Why are you with him? Tell me why the next fucking day, this man DMs me on Instagram with screenshots of our messages, like, basically, why are you telling my girl leave me? At this point, I'm scared for my life. When I say this is a street nigga, I don't know him or what he's capable of. And the fact that he went through our messages, you allowed that. He DM'd me, you allowed that. So obviously I'm reaching out to her like, why is your man messaging me? Like, why is he reading our messages? Like, what the fuck is going on? And I thought you was done with him, so why is he reading our messages? He telling me to stay the fuck out of their business type shit. And I'm just like, bet. Because I'm not trying to get my life ended over something that y'all two got going on. That's between you and him. She never checked him, and they still stayed together after that. I ended up having to cut her off a couple months later because they got into it again. And it was just worse. But yeah, I feel like it's fair. You got to protect your own peace.
Oh, you said yeah. Somebody came to mind. Yeah.
You agree with
Yeah.
the young lady. Absolutely. Let them
I was
where they at.
copy paste the situation. That happened to me one time, but I didn't have to cut her off because she moved away. But she was with a crazy ass nigga. Yeah. And then another friend, which I feel like I told y'all about her. I didn't cut her off because, like, for me, if my friends want to make bad decisions with their partners, that's fine, but leave me out of the shit. But once it gets to a point to where, like, they start to, like, the relationship takes a toll and they just are no longer themselves anymore and they just carry so much negativity and all this stuff and woe is me and it's a cycle and a cycle and a cycle, that's when I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to head out. So that's kind of what happened in the situation before. It was a friend I don't know why she did this. She got to the point to where she was about to turn 30. She wanted to be married, have a baby, all that stuff. Met this dude somewhere, moved him into her house. He never moved out. The boy mama bought the ring for her. It was so much shit. It was so much shit. They was together for maybe a year and a half, and at that point she wanted to get married real bad. Found out he had 2 kids, twins, that he didn't take care of. He shared custody, but the weekends that was his weekends, his mama had the kids. So his mama, his sisters, all of them was hiding a secret from her. The kids was so much of a secret that his own friends didn't know he had kids. You still wanted to. I might as well put it out. Girl, I ain't fuck with this girl in a minute. Ain't nobody gonna know who I'm talking about. Anyway, she's decided to stay with him. And when she stayed with him, it was like, okay, well, now I gotta have a baby. The whole time she was pregnant, it was like, okay, well, I hope that I don't have a girl because he got girls. And I don't want them to be jealous of her because he's marrying me. She ended up having a baby by him. You know, your pregnancy, your postpartum, you blown away with the wind. That's how skinny and stretched you is. And it literally withered. Cause like literally postpartum again, it'll bring out the worst in you if you ain't got the resources. It's a healing. It's the most vulnerable state in your life. So any negativity, any negative stuff you got going on is going to come to the surface. She could not get over that. Changed her completely. And I had to stop fucking with her. I was trying to be there for her. Like, how can I help you? What can I do? Intervention type stuff. What do you need? But it gets to the point to where you just reject everything. And basically she asked herself out trying to maintain a relationship. She's still with him.
She
Everybody can't have standards.
damn. I know I had a situation where I kind of like, I guess that's cutting off when I just kind of like fall back or whatever. But my friend had been dealing with that guy for like years, and none of the advice I was giving was she listening to, and when I finally got to the point where I wasn't gonna give you no advice and I'm just listening to you, like, okay, she got mad at me. Like, what you got to say? Oh, I don't have nothing to say. I'm listening. She got mad at me. I'm like, bruh, like, I don't know how much you need to hear for you to see that he playing in your face. Actually, his actions was enough because he had other kids. Of course, they ended up living together, but that was because something happened with her apartment. They lived in the same apartment complex. So I feel like she could have went and got another apartment because they had been dealing with each other, but she wanted to like be up under him. So she chose to, I guess, act like, oh, woe is me. And so, of course, a nigga that's gonna need some help, of course, gonna let you move in.
Of
Okay,
course.
so he let you move in, and that was perfect for her because she wanted to be up under him and know his moves and this, that, and the other. I'm talking about would see the DICK pics on the Google Photos because you had access to
Oh,
it. So you would see, like, he ain't taking this for no reason. Like, you would see, you just don't know who he's sending it to. Like, are you okay? Then when he leave your house on Saturdays or Fridays, I think it was Saturdays, he would leave that on that morning and be gone to his baby mama house with his two kids. And I don't think he would come back to Sunday. And you want to believe that nigga went over there playing family on the weekends? Like, you're dumb. And I don't know what else you want me to tell you. Like, all I can do is just, okay, but you mad at me. That's crazy. Well, she's not with him anymore though. So good for her, you know.
that one is the
But
one
I
I was
think
talking
that's
about.
because she
That
left
is.
the state. So I think that's the reason why they're not together.
At this
Mm.
point, I'ma just say
That's crazy.
I don't think people need reasons to cut motherfuckers off. Like, I think people like, oh, we don't want to just be so about ourselves. And what about community? And, you can't just be cutting people off because how do you know you've grown and all of this shit, man? Fuck all that. If I don't want to, I'm just saying, fuck all that, bro. Because I think most of this is trying to convince people to stay in these circular, fucked up relationships, whether it's romantic or friendships or family is repeated. Oh, you should allow people to cross your boundaries. You should allow people to hurt your feelings and disrespect you just for the sake of community. Fuck you. And fuck everybody like you. I don't have to be around you. If you want to be caught up in some bullshit that I feel like will end up getting me caught up in some bullshit, then
Mhm.
I don't need to be involved with you. If you are a woman that is constantly betraying herself for some nigga, you are going to betray me. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Ooh, say it again.
And
Say it
did,
again.
and
Say it
did,
again.
You are
Say it
going
again.
to betray yourself
and
for some
did.
nigga. You are absolutely going to betray me.
Mm,
You can
mm,
usually
mm,
see it in the
mm.
eyebrows too. That's what I mean by the eyebrows.
Oh,
That's
damn.
that's
What
what
you
I
look like,
mean.
Nisi? I'm trying to see because she had issues growing her brow. So what does that?
That's the girl I'm talking about. That was my first lesson with the
So,
eyebrows.
so
That was my first lesson with the eyebrows.
did
That's
she
how I
have
learned.
brows, or was she struggling to like? What was it?
She didn't have like she had very thin brows, but she drew them on like boxes. And I noticed that about her, but she was a nice girl. She was a nice girl. But then I was like, there's a bit of delusion there too. So, like Bondi said, if you are going to betray yourself, you are going to betray me, just like you betray yourself with them eyebrows every single day. And that tells me everybody else around you is also living in delusion too. I was just like, I cannot. I cannot.
Child, listen, that's interesting. I'm gonna be looking at that differently now
And
with the
Look at the
brow.
eyebrows. It was the
also,
harsh box.
yes,
Mm,
just very
mm,
harsh.
mm, mm,
But those
mm.
It's the harsh box or the
angry
line.
Child, listen. Listen, Preston, Kevin, thank you for the super chat. Said I had to recently cut off a friendship after I got into a physical altercation with her verbally abusive husband, and she stayed with him. Thank you for the super chat. Listen, and them be the worst situations. And
Okay,
I
Latrice.
really hate when it's like you want people to defend folks, but to what extent? Because I know, like back home, I have heard so many stories where a person has tried to defend a family member from somebody else and they got pop.
Mhm.
by just even getting in the middle of what they got going on, when any other day that person probably would be right back over there and may still be over there after your funeral, but just low key where don't nobody else know, the family don't know, but you back over there with that same shit. Like, and this person lost their life really for nothing.
People in those types
Still
of
dumbass.
toxic relationships they have a drug habit. We don't like see it that way, but as somebody that knows what it's like to not have a drug habit, but like I've done drugs before. I've also been in toxic relationships before where I could feel like that push and pull and the high highs and the low lows, and you make me
Mm,
feel so good, and then you make me feel so low. And
mm,
then I get caught in this rhythm of keep trying to get back to when you make me feel really good, but you're always increasingly making me feel good less and less, but making me feel worse more and more, to the point that I'm keep trying to like make sense of it. Why is this happening? I understand that cycle so much that I can see the pattern from relationships to drug dependency. I
Oh
can
yeah.
see
mm,
how that is
Mhm.
very
mm.
similar in the same thing. And that's why you have to be so careful with these relationships, because I've just experienced, I don't want to say it like this, but it's so true. When you've experienced how your like caretakers choose their toxicity over your well-being, you really don't trust anybody not to trust their toxicity over your well-being. So you really start to not be able to trust anybody in relationships like that, because you know it's only a matter of time, because you've experienced it from the people that you're supposed to like be the safest with.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like
Yeah.
if my family can put they toxic relationship with a nigga before the safety of me, then you, my friend, definitely will. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I feel like you just gotta trust people to be who they are and handle them the way you need to handle them. There are
Mm,
times when I feel like my friends are going down some type of road with a nigga, and I feel like I can't go down that road with them. So I got to pull back a little bit until they recalibrate. When they
Mhm.
recalibrate, I'll be there. You don't always have to throw people away, but sometimes you have to if they're always bringing that shit to you.
mhm.
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 So